Welcome, this is our Wednesday, July 6, 2016 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, CARICOM heads conclude three-day conference in Georgetown, NDIA providing relief to flood-affected Region 5 communities, and the Government Electrical Inspectorate Division conducts educational sessions for Guyanese. Stay tuned for the details of these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Azim Khan, and here are the details. The 37th regular meeting of the heads of governments of the Caribbean Community CARICOM concluded today, addressing a number of critical issues affecting the region's growth and development, especially on advancing the CARICOM single market and economy and improving bilateral relations with external partner countries. It also saw the deepening of bilateral relations among member states. Critical to the region's advancement, cross-border terrorism and the scourge that follows, as well as trafficking in persons, which is now a cross-border issue, was also one of the agenda items. An extensive report on the conference and its achievements will be provided in tomorrow's edition of the Government News Brief. President David Granger believes that the best thing about CARICOM is the movement towards the single market and economy. Find out more in this Glendon Greenwich report.
With the 37th regular meeting of heads of government of CARICOM member states on the way, President David Granger, speaking with journalists today, said that all 15 member states are concerned about the economy.
I'm very confident that we'll be able to overcome those problems. I know there's been talk about exit and solidarity, but we're all focused on the economy. We all want the best for our people, and that is the single biggest question. How quickly can we move to CSME? How quickly could we eradicate poverty and give our people a better quality of life?
The meeting of heads demonstrates the region's commitment towards the integration process and addressing critical areas of importance and reviewing areas of difficulties. Dr. Ralph Gonzalez believes that whilst a number of decisions taken by the heads is to be implemented, the integration process has come a far way.
I know some people could get impatient with some of the administrative problems in some countries. That's the freedom of movement issue, which I've just addressed. The right of establishment of businesses. Before you used to have a lot of hassles. You don't have it now. Though we need to harmonize the requisite laws, the company laws, fiscal incentives, etc., to make it even easier. And some of those things are in the works.
The status of advancing the CARICOM Single Market and Economy CSME was given attention during the meeting. The 37th regular meeting of heads of government of CARICOM conference concludes today. With this news brief, Glendon Greenwich.
Measures used to mitigate flooding in farmlands in Region 5 have led to additional flooding, but the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority (NDIA) is working to bring relief, even as water is still on the land after the recent rainfall. Details in this report. Heavy rainfall over the past week has resulted in another bout of flooding in some Region 5 communities.
The areas that will be flooded would be like Bushlot, perhaps a little flooding there. You'll have flooding in Golden Grove, Lovely Lass, Unvowact, Trafalgar, Tempe.
The measures used previously to mitigate flooding have also contributed to this fresh bout of flooding.
This one here is as a result of rainfall. What we have to do, we cordon off the residential area, separated from the main drain, and we have to pump the water out. Now that system is still in place. However, it means that when rain falls, the rain can't get out either. And so that is what has caused the problem. But even if we were to remove the cofferdams, then more water will go into the housing area.
Flats told Gina that while other pumps are being mobilized to be deployed to the affected areas, efforts are continuing to restore the Trafalgar outfall.
Ultimately, the solution is to have the sluice functioning, as well as the vandalized pumps working. We intend to rehabilitate the pumps at Trafalgar before the next rainy season, that's before November. We are also seeking right now to improve the drainage through the sluice. I've deployed an excavator, or a pontoon with 2 excavators to the area, and as of today, you had water passing through the sluice, but very small amounts. We estimate about 70 cusecs, or possibly about 450 gallons a second. So that is not helping that much.
Meanwhile, the head of the NDIA has projected that the water will be off the land by Friday. The Community Infrastructure Improvement Project, CAIP, is boosting government's effort to build sustainable communities. Details from Paul McAdam.
The CAIP is one of government's projects aimed at transforming communities through the improvement of aesthetics and access at the grassroots level. The project is currently providing for more effective maintenance of community roads, streets, streetlights, drainage canals, and playgrounds in 9 regions, with Region 8 being the exception. Project Coordinator Karen Rupchand.
We are doing in Mabaruma, we have the recreational park, which we're working on. We're working on several bridges in Berbice, in Wim, in Vrijzerman. We're doing a road in Fellowship, that's in Region 3. We're doing a few playgrounds in Latham, Culvert City. And so it's a mix of projects that we have across the region.
CAIP is currently funding 16 projects valued in excess of $160 million in 9 regions. The projects are those requested by the communities through the neighborhood and regional democratic councils.
Once we receive the request, we would go in, assess the project, and if it is something that can fall within the scope of this project, then we would move to the tendering stage. Well, we have to get approval, we move to the tendering stage, and then we would implement that project.
To be eligible for CAIP funding, a project must contribute to a community's social and economic development as well as create employment.
The vision of the ministry is to create sustainable, empowered villages and councils, right? And communities. So our aim in choosing projects is to meet that mandate. So we look for projects that will provide access, improve access to schools, to health centers, to facilities, to jobs, and that can encourage economic and social development within communities.
The government, through the Ministry of Housing and Water, now the Ministry of Communities, implemented CAIP in 2014 in Regions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In 2015, the project was taken to Regions 1, 7, and 9. Future plans are on stream to take it to Region 8. Paul McAdam, Government News Brief.
Contractors, distributors, and importers are being targeted to raise awareness of electrical safety in the homes and offices. Find out how in this Renetta LaFleur report.
Safety and awareness are at the top of the agenda for the Government Electrical Inspectorate GEI Division. GEI will be hosting awareness seminars to inform electrical contractors, importers, and distributors on safety measures of electrical installation. Chief Electrical Inspector GEI Arnold Barclay explains.
We plan to have seminars for contractors, those are persons who perform electrical installation work, and these contractors by law have to be certified by the Government Electrical Inspectorate. So you can't perform electrical installation work unless you're certified by us.
GEI is the safety body within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure set up to protect electrical users against the hazard of unsafe and unsound electrical installation. It inspects and certifies electrical installations to ensure that they are safe in homes and buildings. This process must be completed before the Guyana Power and Light GPL supplies power.
We would like to convince contractors or consumers who are doing the houses to ensure that when they purchase materials, that these materials are listed. Listed means that it would ensure, to identify who is the manufacturer and who the person that tests and certify that these materials are adequate for the purpose it will be used for.
In Guyana, the electrical sector regulations and the National Electric Code are the standards for safe installation of electrical wiring.
Once these things are listed and they're certified safe, we have no problem with them. But those items that are not certified, there's no guarantee that what you may use it for, it will be safe. Because if a cable is too small and you put too much current in it, it overheats and causes fire. So that's why there's protections for any item you use in the electrical industry.
The seminars will continue across the regions to ensure that safety is widespread and that the importers are properly informed. Renetta LaFleur for the Government News Brief.
The main reservoir in Region 4, the East Demerara Water Conservancy, has been given a boost. Hidaki Amsterdam gives us the details.
The rehabilitated East Demerara Conservancy, EDWC, Phase 2 project was yesterday handed over to the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA. The project was funded by the Japanese International Cooperation Agency and executed by the Ministry of Agriculture.
The rehabilitation of the East Demerara Water Conservancy 2 has an estimated cost of 771 million Ghana dollars, with the government of Japan contributing 755 million or 302 million yen, and the government of Guyana's in-kind contribution of 16 million Ghana dollars.
6 of the network's intake release structures to protect the EDWC dam from overtopping and collapse during rainy seasons were constructed and rehabilitated under the grant.
With this grant, the government of Guyana procured a large quantity of equipment essential to the rehabilitation of the conservancy, such as excavators, aluminium bolts and outboard engines, 4x4 pickup trucks, GPS handheld devices, and laptops. The grant funds were also spent on construction and rehabilitation of intakes, which contributed to improving the conservancy in its function as flood controlling and water supply infrastructure. I'd like to commend the tireless efforts of the people and the agencies which have brought this project to its successful completion. So let us put our hands together. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change is a matter of great concern for all of us today and will threaten our very existence unless properly and proactively dealt with. To combat climate change, Japan announced its ambitious initiative, Action for Cool Earth, or ACE 2.0, at the COP21 last November, under which Japan will provide approximately $12 billion in climate finance to developing countries in 2020. The government of Japan is committed to supporting developing countries in overcoming their vulnerabilities and creating strategies to withstand the effects of climate change, as evidenced by this grant.
NDIA's Chief Executive Officer, Frederick Flatts, says the rehabilitation of the EDWC will bring relief to residents of areas adjoining the Conservancy. Kidaki Amsterdam for Government News Brief.
That concludes today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories are on GINA's website. We encourage you to stay updated and subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. Do join us again tomorrow when we bring you another edition of this, the Government News Brief. Thank you for watching.